Rushmere, Craigavon, one of the most impressive Northern Irish shopping centres there is. Craigavon is actually becoming the hub of retail commerce in Northern Ireland. Why? Number one, if you look around, take a look around, the sheer amount of car parking for free, unlimited free car parking. When you've got all the massive chains that are coming here, there is a major amount of industry here. This place has grown from when it opened in the 70s to the large, major commercial capital that it actually is. This is why, and if you have a look around, just take a look around at the place. This is why I'm going to do the video on both Lurgan from this point and Portadown from behind. The two towns, Lurgan and Portadown, have been decimated as a consequence of the success of this large retail outlet. Let's go to Lurgan. And here we are in Lurgan. So, Lurgan to me is one of the towns that mean a lot to me. I came here at the age of 16 and I moved here, and this place was a buzzing town. Some of the town still works. We got the sub roads of all the actual town itself still has a major commercial interest. The smaller traders with the lower rates have managed to succeed and managed to survive during this massive drop in industry. Now, retail industry has changed predominantly. We have a Royal Mail over here that was closed down by Royal Mail. It is now a private Royal Mail. We have people that have been in the business for years, such as Cafola Brothers over here. You've also got, there's a bar over here that's been there since I was a kid. I remember working here. Well, we'll talk about that in the coming series. But the town is decimated. It is destroyed. Why? Is it Rushmere? Is it the fact that the councils don't really seem to concern themselves about the town centres anymore? Is it the fact that we just can't get parking facilities? Is it because of the fact that we can't pay our rates in the town centres? Well, I've just mentioned all four, and I believe that's what it is. There is a culmination of what's went wrong with Lurgan. And it's not just Lurgan, it is every town, or more or less every town. I've got two towns, provincial towns in the country that are not affected this way. Why? We will tell you. So if you come and have a look, we have the Celtic bar over here. No, we have the Cellar bar over here, and it's been a regular haunt for a lot of people. This is what we refer to as, and there are two divisions in this town, sadly. I don't like it, I hate this idea, but there are two divisions in this town, and the two town centres are the Catholic side and the Protestant side up on the far side. When it was busy, that's the way it used to be. There used to be a different level of township there, and there was a place in the middle that both met, and that was in the dead centre. So we'll go and have a look at some of the shops here and the regular haunts. Let's do this. So here is the Cellar bar. I used to work here at the age of 16. I served drink here, but I had a bit of an English accent because I'm half English. I had a bit of an English accent, and some people didn't like me because I was semi-English. I was sacked as a consequence of being English accented, and they didn't tell me that, but I was told that was the reason why I was dismissed from the job. I didn't do any harm. It was just my accent, and I assumed they thought that I was a Brit, and because of that, out you went. It was a predominantly Catholic bar. In fact, I think it was 100% Catholic. There was another place that I went to, which I won't go. If you go down this hill and out the road, there's a place called Centrepoint. Same thing, nationalist place, and I had an English accent, and two heavies who claimed to be from the IRA told me to leave the premises immediately or else I'm going to get shot. That's what they said to me. I left that day. So this town itself has always been plagued with religious indifference. It is a religiously indifferent town, but it catered for both populations in regards to that. So let's go to the next one. So Cafola's, what a great little place. I used to come again when I was here as a young lad. They had another Cafola's down the side of Carnegie Street. I used to love going in when I was a student, getting chips and beans. Now this is the original Cafola's, and it's owned by an Italian. There was Italian brothers came from Italy, would you believe? Italian come from Italy. Anyway, there they are there. That's when they first opened. 1932. It is now officially nearly 100 years old, and it's probably the oldest little place in Lurgan, and has survived 4 generations, I believe, of the Cafola brothers. Sorry to interrupt you. Most of you who are watching aren't subscribed to my channel. Please like, subscribe, click the alert button. I think the guy who runs it or owns it now is a guy called Jared Cafola. It's a heritage industry, this one here, and it's probably one of the only ones that has survived. We do have a 1963 financial industry called Lurgan Credit Union, and again, I am still a member of Lurgan Credit Union. As a kid, I started saving money and I got a loan for my first business there using savings, and they gave me so much back of my savings. Now, that is a great industry. It is the thing that has helped a lot of people who couldn't get loans from a Main Street bank, probably because of their job opportunities or whatever it was. But that, to me, Lurgan Credit Union, I can say thank you for making me a successful person, because you aided and helped me grow to who I needed and gave me the money when I needed to buy stuff and stock to resell. Anyway, there it is. Come on over and we'll see you another wee place. We also have a great shop here, J.R. McMahon. Sadly, the shop itself is under a major amount of construction. Alan, I've known for years. He's a great man. He's owned it for nearly 20 odd years now. He bought that place and he's done such a great job. I used to buy so many suits of him when I was previously rich, and he sadly won't let me in because he believes that his place is not good enough at the minute to be shown. I don't agree with him, but he's the boss and that's the way it is. He just told me about an event the council's doing. Now, this will be a great short as well, but let's just show you what they're doing. Come on, show this. This is an alleyway. This alleyway is the alleyway that used to be between the Cellar Bar and J.R. McMahon's. Now, this alleyway brings it through to a free car park. It's cold in here. And let's go and find out what the council are doing. Now, as you keep going, I found out there's a new scheme to redevelop 2 active alleyways. And this scheme will cost £2 million for the renovation of alleyways. Here it is. This is what 2 million quid of our ratepayer money will pay for. The renovation of an alleyway or alleyways in Lurgan, because they believe that they are somehow an innovative structure to the town. However, how about this? Stop what you're doing with the alleyway and spend £2 million on the town centre, giving gifts to entrepreneurs to come and bring their stuff into the town. Bring the footfall first before you start doing up alleyways for them to be destroyed again. 2 million quid? What are you on, councillors? There needs some common sense. That 2 million quid to updo alleyways. So they're going to do this place up. This is a great area. It goes down to a beautiful car park that actually is free. It's a free car park. It's one of the only free car parks now in Lurgan. So as a consequence of that, it allows customers to park their car. Now, what I know about this car park, it is used for staff. Staff love to park here and go to work, and so be it. This is the way it should be. I own properties down here. If you look at some of the videos I have, you've got the Wellington Street down here. I own properties over there. But this car park is a major heartbeat, or how would you say, innovator of keeping staff, allowing them to come to work and not having to go with penalties or expenses parking here too long. The day that they put parking charges here is the day they complete Lurgan and its totalitarian and its rest in peace. Without this car park running, I would say that Lurgan will be doomed massively. However, we want to talk about the actual roads, and we're going to go down the roads that are doing quite well in Lurgan. The centre of Lurgan is dead as far as I'm concerned. There is more business being done down the streets for some reason, and it's only in Lurgan that I've seen this, that the streets are much more busier than the actual town centre itself. That has something to do with rates, it has something to do with the car parking, and it has something to do with the local community and where they support their community of shops. So stop me there and we'll go down to another street. So behind me is Shankill Parish Church, the central pivot of the actual town itself. It is a Church of Ireland. This is the place where I bought my mill. This is the people that I bought my mill off. Or not my mill, sorry, my churchyard. So I bought my church hall off these people. My money probably went to the repair of that roof. But there it is, Shankill Parish Church. Great wee church inside. And of course the cenotaph over there where If you have a look, can you see there past the tree? The cenotaph, that is for the forgotten dead. We do remember our dead, and I'm very much a proud supporter of that. That was for both World War I, World War II, and other injuries to other soldiers. We'll head to Church Walk and we'll talk about Church Walk. Come on. So here's Church Walk. Church Walk itself is a great little place. It's got Jackie Kerr, who was always good for furniture. When I was down and out and I was very poor, that's the boy I went to for a bit of furniture for my first house. And Jackie done a few moves for me. It was a great little place. There's also a carpet place down there and a tile place down there. And they were great for getting cost-effective things. This is actually quite a great little street full of little micro entrepreneurs, and they've lasted forever. Now, down there, of course, I own properties, so I'll probably be using Jackie Kerr for a bit of furniture now and again. Sadly, this is one of the streets that had a lot to do with a lot of crime back in the old days during the Troubles, because the police station is just there. We'll talk about the bomb and how it affected the town. If you want, Roween, will you put in a bit about the bomb now?
Main Street in Lurgan blown apart by the IRA. Police were evacuating the town as the £1,000 bomb packed inside a van exploded early this morning. 3 officers are detained in hospital. Another 2 have been discharged after treatment, along with 2 women who were passing by. The explosion was heard more than 20 miles away. The IRA had pledged to keep the Irish question high on the political agenda. Its bombing campaign continues despite the high level of troops now deployed in Ulster. But the security minister is defending operations to counter.
Now you've seen that little clip on the bomb in Lurgan. It's literally telling you what happened. If you look in the middle of the town, there's a bit on where the car parking is. That is where we used to park our cars, and that's why the town used to buzz, because you could park your car for about 15, 20, 30 minutes and pop across to Woolworths or to the other places that were, when the bomb happened, the council seen fit to remove that car parking after the bomb had taken the town out. Anyway, so let's go on down to the next thing. So here is one of the streets that I talked about. It's doing extremely well as a local community. This street itself have no empty places. It has no empty spots. It's a great little micro enterprise for the town. It is supported by its own community. It addresses places like Kilwalkie, and you have also, if you look over there, that is William Street, and William Street brings it down to the motorway and heads down to the motorway. These 2 streets are busy streets. If you look over here, you've also got Edward Street. Edward Street itself is full of cafeterias, restaurants and places where people eat, and it links onto the back of the new Millennium Way off Lurgan, which has taken a lot of the cars away from the town centre. Was it beneficial? I think it was for a certain degree, but they still go in for massive parking issues. But this street is full of hairdressers, local hairdressers. It's got a trophy place that never closed down. Amazing. Where is it again? So this trophy place, it's been here since I was a kid. Long time, and they've been going for a very long time. Trophies for the whole of Lurgan, that's where you get them for. You've also got the Celtic Bar over here, which is quite a regular haunt for people. Not for me, with my English accent, I wouldn't be welcome in places like that, but it's a very good place. The street itself, as you can see, it's extremely packed all the time. I think there's more football and more commercial trade done in this town than there is up in the main town. So where we'll go now is we'll go up to the main part of the town, and then we'll have a conversation about some of the things I talked about with Rushmere. Happy enough? Thank you very much. I'll go this way. This place used to be the Toy Master of Lurgan. Now, the only reason why I'm doing this film, not because of the fact that it's up for rent, but to me, it was one of the best, most architecturally beautiful building that was in the town. Now, if you have a look at the actual stonework on it, it's absolutely stunning, but it's also been given levels of vandalism, which is terrifying. You know, why someone would vandalize that, but this is, I just know it's one of the most nicest architectural buildings there is in Lurgan. There it is. So Lurgan has been replaced at the minute with a major amount of charity shops and poorly, I would say, finished shops. Shops that are quite temporary. Its standard of design and its look, overall look. There's been no real quality in the level of aftercare and how Lurgan looks anymore. So there's no pride in the shopkeeper. And that's another effect that will have issue with people coming to the town. People refer to this place as a dump. It isn't. It's not a dump. It's a beautiful town. It's worth a lot more than it's being given. Here itself, this used to be the old First Trust Bank. It's been sitting idle for a long time, and odds are they will probably ask for a complete fortune of money to purchase this item, rather than just sell it at a cost in order for people to buy it and rent it out. And this would be a great place to start microeconomies or businesses where you could have, it's a massive open space, 5,800 square feet. Downstairs, I think, is about 2,500 square feet. And it would be a beautiful place for someone to start a little micro market. That's where it would be, somewhere like First Trust. Anyway, moving on, Gordon's Chemist. Great little chemist, been here for a very long time. To me, that is one of the things that bring people in. Card factory is okay. I wonder, is the Ulster Bank still open? Let's have a look at the Ulster Bank to see if it's still open. No, the Ulster Bank's closed. So here's the Ulster Bank, and of course, a beautiful building again, but it's up for sale. It's closed down, there's no more footfall, and that is the one of the doom makers of any town, not just Lurgan itself. So we find that this is a big issue with every town. Digitalization of money has changed, and because of it, there is a lot less footfall. People not coming anymore to put their money in the deposits into their account. If you have a look over somewhere over there, there was a red coat. There's a red coat over there. Parking facilities is also a big problem. Now the town's getting a wee bit busier at the minute, which I've noticed. But yeah, let's move on. So here is where my used shop used to be. Oh yes, it is a phone fix. This was my old shop. This shop used to be where I had a fix-a-phone. I think it was my third shop that I built. The day that I was about to open, I opened the shutters to find that someone broke in from the back of the bank, in through the roof and down through to break in and damage my property. They stole all my phones and it left me with nothing again. That brings back good memories? Not sure. Don't know. Never do retail again. And then you got places like the Cookery Nook, which was a really great little place. It still is actually quite. I think they've been going for about. They've been doing business for about 40 years. He was actually one of my landlords. He owned the property beside there. So he was the rental of that property. There's a lot of people sticking their noses here going, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? But it is not bad. I'm going to go to a place with a person that I know. And if you just bear with me, I'm going to see if he will take a video. 2 seconds. So here is the leather shop. It's been around for nearly 30 years. I've just went and spoke to the owner. He's going to retire. He's given up and he's selling the property. He's looking, if anyone's interested, he's looking £130,000 for this property. It would be bargain because the rates bill is only about £100 a week for the council tax here. So if anyone is interested in the commercial property, I'm there to sell it for him. He'll take 130, 140 grand for it. So I'm on down here and I'll talk about the car parking. Now there's a place called Castle Lane, and yeah, it's named after me. Yeah, here you go. Look, that plaque on the wall. Yeah, that plaque on the wall, it says it's named after me. It is. So Castle Lane is because of Brownlow Castle down here. We've got a place called Brownlow Castle, and it was done by the castle. I've got a video of it here, and that is on the castle and what it represents. Come on down here. This property is an interesting property. This used to be a bar, and it was bought over by a lottery millionaire who won the lottery and bought the bar and done it up, and then eventually all the money that she had was wasted on this bar. Sadly, it didn't succeed. She lost every penny. It failed. Sometimes, no matter what you do, and I know this from business experience, no matter what you do in business, no matter how much money you put into it, sometimes you can't flog a dead horse. So we're here in Castle Lane, and this is one of the prominent issues that Lurgan had. This car park is a chargeable car park, but it doesn't create a level of car parking facilitation for Lurgan. Why? Because number one, it is done by a new type of coat called a blue coat. These are done by the council, and the council monitor and want money from this car park directly. So that you've got the Department of Infrastructure and the roads who have the red coats, and now you have the blue coats that monitor this car park. Now, if you have a look, there's Brownlow Castle and there's B&M Bargains, and over here is Iceland. Now, Iceland probably will get a lot more business if the blue coats from the council would simply just disappear. Over here is a barren piece of land. This barren piece of land that's now fenced off used to be where they started doing markets. It was doing so well, and then they suddenly decided to stop it. They wouldn't allow people to park in, and anyone that did were being controlled by the council, and I believe they ruined it. It was a lack of effort. There is actually, I've been told today, there is a business manager for Lurgan town. Where are they? You know, this is where there's so much can be done with this town. This town has so much potential. Lurgan has a great potential to do really well, and yet it is being absolutely hammered by regulation, by overpricing of rates, by the cost of delivering a service or a product to customers of Lurgan. Lurgan needs a chance, and it's the councillors who are preventing this chance. Why are they doing this? Is it because Rushmere is just easier? They don't have to deal with it? And I talked about Rushmere before. You don't have to go through this nonsense of stress or anxiety to go shopping in Rushmere, but you don't have the local people. Rushmere do not offer a level of retail for local people to trade from. You have to be a PLC to work in Rushmere. And as we keep on going through this journey, I will continue to remind the real simple reasons that nobody ever seems to want to deal with. Whether the council think, you know what, we can get $1,000 a week from a car park in sales. That's good, but it ain't, because it's not long-term vision. The councils don't realise this. They would rather spend $2 million on an alleyway, which is a complete joke. What is wrong with the council? Why are they doing this? Why can't they just make this car park for free and allow people the stress-free environment to simply park their car, head up to the town and do their shopping for the day? That, I believe, will be the biggest change in people's choices in the delivery of services in that town centre up this hill. There we have it. Let's move on to the next part of the town. So years ago, there used to be beautiful car parking spaces here. You could park your car here where we stand, all the way up where all these trees are. And this was a great place to park, run across to, say, Woolworths used to be there, and a load of other stores. I myself own 2 stores in this town. One where Digibora is currently now, that was my tech store, and a phone shop further down the town. Now, the industry has massively changed, and I believe it had a lot to do with people's constant desire to park their cars in the middle of the town and walk across. Now, if you look at other towns that we're going to be doing a video on Cookstown soon, and the level of staying power they have. They have car parks in the actual town, straight into the shop windows. You park them vertically, and it allowed the industry to stay. So retail has not died in Cookstown. This is one of the reasons, and one of the deliberate reasons why when the bomb went off, they changed the whole landscape of the town. Now, it may look pretty, but to me, it has changed how business was done in Lurgan permanently. Woolworths closed there. We've had a lot of changes. That used to be a bank where Boots is currently. There used to be a bar and a hotel here. That has also closed down. Sports Direct used to be Wellworths, would you believe? Wellworths. Not Woolworths, Wellworths. Places like Menaries and SD Kells and Superdrug and around the pound, they've been around for a long time. There was other people. The bomb took off this whole entire place. So this was all brand new buildings, as is this area. They're all brand new buildings after the bomb. This place was decimated after the bomb. The industry never, I believe, from that point, that was the first drop in industry after the bomb had went off. Now we have one of the shoes, you got Miller's shoe shop over there. Miller's moved up from down there. When I was a young lad, I wired Miller's, but it is no longer there. They've moved up to the main part of the street. This part of the town is the mid part of the town centre. And back in the old days, it's where both the Catholic side and the Protestant side used to mix. That is where, back in the old days, they used to say, and this is what they'll say, that's the Protty side of town, and that's the Catholic side of town, and that was the way it was. And in the middle was where the two met. Woolworths, Wellworths, Boots, the banks, etc. And this was known as High Street. I remember that one. And Market Street. Where that ends is Market Street. You've got High Street and Market Street. And this side of the town didn't do as well as the other side, where the Shankill Parish Church is. Why? I don't know. But again, I look at the Rushmere, I look at the Redcoats, I look at the rates. It's really expensive to rent a place here. The rates on this location, phenomenal. And you have to be quite a big PLC to survive. Parts of High Street where you got Jules over there in the corner. Now, she's been in business, for a long time now. And I remember years ago when I was previously quite a wealthy man, when I had my shop, I parked my Ferrari here. And I parked my Ferrari here. I was allowed to do it with the council, where I told them if you bought something from my shop, you could win a spin in my car. And that's how my shop survived. And it brought in a bit of attention. But back then, I was plagued with theft. The crime was high, and the police didn't give it continental toot. See, I didn't even have to do that. I didn't swear this time. Lurgan has great potential. But the problem is, there is no level of cooperation from the councils. They rule this town. And I believe they rule with a feckless fist, not an iron fist, a feckless. They don't care about this town. They don't care about Portadown either. They say they do, they talk a good job, but they don't do anything good. All they do is they want to make it beautiful and slowly decay the town into a point where they're back to residential area, and the new town centre is no longer maintained by Rushmere or by the council, it's maintained by a private company. That is the future of retail. What the council should do is find ways of making enterprise work. That's what will keep this town alive, and develop a new level of retail outlets for the new demanding needs of today. So let's take a wee walk down a bit more. So there's a shop. I used to own this shop. This was my store, and clearly there's issues here. How does a shop manage to stay closed for 3 days or 4 days of the week? How does that happen? Is that good for the economy of the town centre? No, I don't think it is. I think if you've got a shop, you must be willing to stay open for the entire week to allow people to come in. But if that is the level where they're probably making decisions that it's cheaper to have a staff member not attend than just have it sitting there and pay their rates, there it is. That's an indicator of the future, that staff is so expensive that I'd rather close it for 4 days of the week. What's that about? So Jules is one of my neighbours, as I own the shop over there, and my ISP was up there, and the call centre used to be behind all there. This place, she was my neighbour. I thought she was a great work colleague, she was a fellow trader, and she's still going. And I have all the respect for her, because ultimately, she's probably one of the last living long-term people, and the butchers up there, they're the only ones that have lasted the time when both COVID has come, retail's ups and downs, policy changes. Very similar to me and how we get on with Amazon and eBay. The same shit is occurred by different people. There are always someone that wants to control how you make money. You're never able to do it freely in a free space with a free market, and she survived it. So I'm going to go and have a yarn with her, see if she said anything to me. So far, all the people that I've wanted to talk to don't want to talk. What's that about? Shy? I don't know. Let's see if the third person wants to speak to me. Back in a minute. And then you had that government council interruption. The last shop that I closed or sold, I sold it for 20 grand to in Lisburn, and sold it to them. The amount of council interruption that I got during that year was enough to me say, well, I've had enough. I'm barely surviving. They just dug up the whole front of the shop, won't let customers in, but they've got enough to walk across a plank into my shop to say, hey, are you smoking in this shop? Yeah. No, we're not smoking. Well, you need to put a sign up legally, and that's what they were doing. You need that sign. If you don't put that up, we're going to take you to court.
It's all that sort of stuff. It's just, it's.
I mean, do you remember? I don't think you do, but because you didn't remember me, which is disappointing.
I did remember your face.
All right.
I couldn't actually put.
I remember you and I.
Margaret was there for 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, she was. That was me before.
Yeah,
I was the tenant before.
Yeah. But then it was vacant for a while.
It was vacant before me,
Yeah.
or after I left.
Yeah.
I think it was just the owner, Sean Hagan. He's a solicitor. Great guy, was in my AlanC party. He was like, when I asked him for it, because I was losing big time, it was the credit crunch. We talked about the credit crunch. I remember coming talking to you about the credit crunch. I got a good memory, you haven't. But anyway, we had a meeting. You and I went and we attended, and we were with someone else. And we attended that meeting. Where was it? It was somewhere in the town. It was in the town hall. You and I had that meeting with the planning. Do you remember they were planning this new town?
This new town.
And the car parking was going to...
Fifth Avenue in New York.
And that was, to me, the last strike on the success of Lurgan. You know, we lost our car parking facilities.
That's right.
And as a consequence of that, you knew. And we, no matter what we argued, they said, oh, we're listening. They weren't.
But they had already had the meeting.
They had the plans.
The decision was made.
And it was that idea, that council level of contempt for the traders. They didn't care. That was it. But they want the rates. They want the rates. And I was just saying there, you know, but because of GPSR and now this new taxation thing that's happening in April, I am being forced to purchase my own commercial property and start a hybrid business with an online, what we sell in store, it is tilled online. So if it's bought in store, it's skewed and you pay it out of the online channel. So the stock comes offline immediately when you scan it out and sell it in shop. Does that make sense? There is a till system now that does that.
And where are you going to open your shop?
Well, I say I'm being forced. I haven't made that decision yet, but if it would be, I'd probably go to Lisburn. We've done a big thing about Lisburn Town Centre. Got 20,000 views within the first, and I upped things like greens.
Is there 20,000 people left in Lisburn?
No, Lisburn's dead. Yeah. Lisburn's actually worse than Lurgan.
No, couldn't be.
It is.
No, couldn't be. Lurgan first, Lisburn second, Portadown third.
Well, Portadown's going to be the next one we're going to do, but I blame Rushmere.
Of course.
And the reason why I blame Rushmere is this. So for the council's benefit, the council don't have to pay for security. They don't have to pay for cleaning. They don't have to pay for the tarmacking or the maintenance of the area. They don't have to pay for electricity. They don't have to pay for even internal cleaning. They don't have to pay for heating. They don't have to pay for issues with antisocial behaviour. None of that nonsense has to be dealt with. All they have to do is collect a large payment every month in rates. And they do nothing for it.
So our rates bills haven't gone down at all. Right?
No, they never do.
But the revenue out there is now seriously gone up.
Yes.
Because it's full to the capacity and it's full of high-end shops as well, getting all this revenue in. Surely, I mean, rates is based on footfall as well as property.
That's right. No, of course, because that puts up the volume value of your property.
So the footfall in both towns is way to hell. So why has our rates not come down?
Because they've not put down the property prices.
No, but they have really. I mean, I know guys in this town now that
Well,
paid 550,000 for their property and they're now worth 80.
Well, saying that, I walked into the leather shop. He says, Alan, please buy that property of me for 100 grand.
Yeah, and he's reduced it by 30 already.
Yeah, no, and I said, I just, no, I don't want it.
Ulster Bank is for sales for under 200 and it's huge.
Right, but you can't, and this is the difficulty. In England, you're now being allowed by the councils to convert commercial properties that used to be into housing, back into houses. Brick it up, put a front door on it, and suddenly it's a property now. These are ideal houses. You put bricks on that.
Was a house.
Yes, of course. They're just not letting go. We're always years behind the English system. And it should be. We have to consider.
How do we get our, I mean, before the Labour government got in, the rates relief in England was 70%.
Right.
Right? It's now 40.
Yeah.
The Labour government in. Right?
Yes.
We never got any of that.
No. We're still.
But it was sent to Stormont to give to the small traders and the businesses of the 6 counties, and it never was given.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the scenario where it quite simply is that Stormont are either, no, they're just feckless. They're all feckless, every one of them. They sit up there and they laugh about their £90,000 wage rise they got.
Right, that's right.
While we sit there and pay for that. It is shameful.
Who's going to change it? Who is truthfully going to change it? No one's going to change it.
Do you think so?
We'll all be gone. We'll all be gone. I mean, there will not be a small business left before they wake up and say,
I do believe that, like you, and this is what I said when I was in the AlanC party, and I was sitting over there And I had that place and I had loads of other shops. And I went to a certain AlanC MLA at the time, who I still find in my heart a good friend. Not because he's in the party, but because I love him. He's Dr. Stephen Farry. He's left the party too now. And he said to me, Alan, back years ago, he said, Alan, I believe the future of retail's dead. You need to go online. And I was like, well, I've got an online business. I sold it for a phenomenal amount of money, which got my Ferraris, if you remember. Anyway, and
I have no Ferrari, that's for sure.
well, I ended up losing it all. Easy come, easy go. That's the way I saw that, and that was a hard lesson learned. That was a big jump from the top of the ladder right down to the bottom, and I was zero. Nobody knew who I was or where I went to. I just disappeared and licked my wounds for years. It was great. It was a really life learning experience, and it made me truly value my skill set as a business person to now learning how to become the way I am. This is no new thing. This online profile I have, we started a new media company, and we're now getting paid phenomenal amounts of money for talking nonsense. Did you know this? You should do the same. You should do the same. And I mean this with absolute...
You mean I stand up and I talk about the shop?
No, you sell your products. You sell your products. Hello? No, go ahead. No, don't worry about me. You're a customer. The business has to change. You have to adapt like I did. And I've done exceptionally well, even though there's still another pack of plonkers who control us. We've got eBay saying, because we don't pay rent, but eBay go, oh, I want 25% fees now. And Amazon...
They are talking about that, aren't they?
They are. No, we're close to 25% fees already. But it's 25% of everything we do. So if I made £1 million, they get 25%. And last year I done 600,000 with eBay. So I'm not happy about that because I've had a retail shop. But the question is, would I made 600,000 in a retail shop? This is it. And that's the struggle. And even I assume you work here. You yourself have looked upon it, and there's a lot of people say, oh, I wouldn't work in retail. Sure, there's no money in it, or there's no future in it. And that's then makes it harder for you to get staff in to help you. You're standing here a lot more. You don't get holidays like they do. I don't know if you get holidays.
Yeah,
I won't mention you.
We all take our holidays.
I don't get it.
Yeah, well, I have. No, I didn't. For many, many years, I really did.
Struggled,
yeah. But I do now because I've got to the age of my life where I would close this shop in the morning if I couldn't take my holidays.
Yeah.
I've got to that point because I'm 60 now. No, there's no way.
Don't look it, girl.
Well, I feel it.
She doesn't look it.
We've been here so long, we know. I mean, it's like we just know, and we know the form. We also know the pitfalls. We know, but every morning we have to get up and rush ourselves down and
no, I know.
Try and face the public and hope that you've got people coming through the door.
I still see myself as a retailer, but I'm an online retailer now. But as I say, I'm being pushed back to that level of having to consider open. But there's no way in God's green earth that I'm going to pay a 25 grand rent and then a rate bill thereafter it. I want to make sure that my costs are extremely low. So I'm going to look to just simply purchase the property outright.
You've got to buy it, you know.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
I mean, and this is the truth. This guy here, he owns right round here, and he owns right down to where Gary Miller used to be. And I mean, he's like, to me, what's he got to want to get for this property?
Right.
You know, and if he offered it to me for 20 grand, I wouldn't buy it. And that's the truth. I would not invest in commercial property.
Yeah, because you're paying rates for it.
Yeah.
If you have it empty, it's still rates. I'm going to love you and leave you.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I talk a bit more about you outside?
You can do whatever you like.
So what an interesting conversation I had there with a former tenant over there, and of course the owner of Jules. She's been there for 38 years, you know, struggling like crazy. So there it is. There's our suggestion around the town. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish with Jules in the back, and then I'm going to talk about why. In my story so far, and we've been filming for quite a while now, nearly 3 hours filming. We'll break it down into 1 hour, and I believe this. The town's decimation, both in every one of the provincial towns in Northern Ireland, is caused by both the fecklessness of the councils, the inability of the councils to deal with promotion of this and listening to the sellers and what their needs are. So not listening to the sellers. I believe that this town and every other town has massive capability to change. We can adapt every single shop in this town into a hybrid between retail and online, where they could sell online stock at the back of the property and retail to the front. This is the only future, by changing every shopkeeper and inviting shopkeepers to have a good digital product where they can sell stuff on Whatnot in their retail shops. That's where it needs to be. Parking. The adoption of parking and the facilitation of parking needs to be easier. There's not as much double parking or hard to get parking spaces anymore because there's just no one in the town. So why do we need to keep paying for red coats? And why now has the council started delivering blue coats to deliver Another punitive measure on parking facilities in the car parks that have no relevance. The costs need to be adapted, they need to change. Finally, the rates. The rates should do a reduction. They should reduce the rates bill in order to keep industry or commercial industry going where the costs are afforded for more staff. The more staff we bring to the town, the more level of sales we get from the town. If she could afford to employ 2 more staff, they themselves on their way home would do a local shop on their way home to buy bread and milk, and that would open up a whole level of standard of sales in a town centre. If I refer back to the short video I did there, that video is on Hitchin, and they've got a little flea market that they run. They charge 10 quid for a trader to work the day in the cold, under a little hood, and that they can sell their wares for a tenner a day. If they make 50 quid, they're made a profit. What they do with that 50 quid is they go up the town and buy a bit of shopping or buy an ornament. What is wrong with this level of bureaucracy that they cannot do this in Northern Ireland? So I'll end at that. Please like, subscribe and click the alert button. We are going to do a lot more videos on all the provincial towns in Northern Ireland. Maybe I'll go to Dundalk as well and start doing the south. Same problem occurs. It's this level of inability that I don't understand, and I will show successful middle or little towns and contrast places like Lurgan, and the next one I'm going to do is Portadown. So please keep subscribing, keep liking, and please keep commenting. If you're a shopkeeper in a town and you want me to come to you and you want to be interviewed, please, I'm happy to do so. As I could see, I managed to get a bit of a sneak interview there, but ultimately not many shopkeepers want to talk anymore. I think they've done it, they've passed it. So I appreciate your subscription, I appreciate your following. Please support Lurgan. If you are a Lurgan person, go to your local town, start producing income for them, support them. It's not the big places. Yes, the parking's a shit. Yes, the red coats are a nightmare, but please support your local town. That's it. Thanks for watching. See ya.